So we are in Book 5, the Book of Love, which tells about the meeting of Savitri and Shraddhavan. And now we're coming towards the end of Canto 3. So this is a long conversation. The whole of this canto is a long conversation between Savitri and Shraddhavan. Actually, Shraddhavan speaks most because Savitri keeps asking him to tell her more and more about himself. So we've come to page 407, and I'll start reading at line 272. And here he's speaking about his own inner experiences, how he sees the world around, but he feels a greatness and a mystery behind the appearances. I plunged into an inner seeing mind and knew the secret laws and sorceries that make of matter mind's bewildered slave. The mystery was not solved, but deepened more. I strove to find its hints through beauty and art. But form cannot unveil the indwelling power. Only it throws its symbols at our hearts. It evoked a mood of self. It evoked a mood of self, invoked a sign of all the brooding glory hidden in sense. I lived in the ray, but faced not to the sun. I looked upon the world and missed the self. And when I found the self, I lost the world. My other selves I lost, and the body of God, the link of the finite with the infinite, the bridge between the appearance and the truth, the mystic aim for which the world was made, the human sense of immortality. But now the gold link comes to me with thy feet, and his gold sun has shone on me from thy face. For now another realm draws near with thee, and now diviner voices fill my ear. A strange new world swims to me in thy gaze, approaching like a star from unknown heavens. A cry of spheres comes with thee, and a song of flaming gods. I draw a wealthier breath, and in a fierier march of moments move. My mind transfigures to a rapturous seer. A foam leap, traveling from the waves of bliss, has changed my heart and changed the earth around. All with thy coming fills. Air, soil, and stream wear bridal raiment to be fit for thee, and sunlight grows a shadow of thy hue because of change within me by thy look. Come nearer to me from thy car of light. On this green sward, disdaining not our soil. For here are secret spaces made for thee, whose caves of emerald long to screen thy form. Wilt thou not make this mortal bliss thy sphere? Descend, O happiness, with thy moon gold feet, enrich earth's floors, upon whose sleep we lie. O my bright beauty's princess, Savitri, by my delight and thy own joy compelled, enter my life, thy chamber and thy shrine. In the great quietness where spirits meet, led by my hushed desire into my woods, let the dim rustling arches over thee lean. One with the breath of things eternal live. Thy heart beats near to mine, till there shall leap enchanted from the fragrance of the flowers a moment which all murmurs shall recall, and every bird remember in its cry. You'll start, Rosa? Yes?
Yes.
Mm.
I plunged into an inner seeing mind and knew the secret laws and sorceries that make of matter minds
Bewildered.
bewildered slave. The mystery was not solved but deepened more.
Mm. So he felt that mystery. He was groping, he says, with the lantern thought, but he couldn't pierce the heart of that secrecy. And so he plunged deeper into his own mind, into an inner seeing mind that can see and understand more of the things than our power of thought. And so he came to know the secret laws and the sorceries, the magic, the enchantments that make of matter mind's bewildered slave. Somebody who is bewildered, they don't know what they are doing, they are puzzled and confused. And he says that there's a connection between mind and matter and substance, and actually mind is the master of matter. That's not how we think these days so much. We tend to think that mind is conditioned by matter, but this deeper seeing sees that in fact matter is shaped by mind, and the way that things happen around us, they're the product of consciousness. No? So matter becomes the bewildered slave of mind because of that kind of those secret occult laws and magic. But that knowledge doesn't solve the mystery. It only deepens it. It makes it more mysterious. Dhanalakshmi?
I strove to find its hints through beauty and art, but form cannot unveil the indwelling power. Only it throws its symbols at our hearts.
So we have seen that he's an artist, that he loves beauty, that he paints and makes sculptures, makes poetry and music. So it's in beauty and in art that he strives to find the key to the mystery. But he found out that form, that shape, cannot unveil, it can't take away the veil that hides that power which is dwelling in everything behind the surfaces. Form, all it can do is to throw or to project onto our hearts its symbols, its signs, no? Of something which is behind. Yes?
It evoked a mood of self, invoked a sign of all the brooding glory hidden in sins. I lived in the ray, but faced not to the sun.
So form, beautiful beauty of form, beauty of art, evokes, it calls out a mood, a subjective feeling, no? And it calls for, it invokes a sign. It calls down a sign of all the brooding glory hidden in sense. We are aware of form and of beauty through our senses. The senses are what link us, our subjective consciousness, with the world around us. But Sri Aurobindo here says, in Satyavan's words, that within these physical senses that we have, there is something else, a brooding glory of the possibility of consciousness. So when we become aware of forms that touch us, I'm just seeing this beautiful blue color of the flower under Mother's picture there. There's something very touching and about that particular color or this particular color. No? So these are things which speak to us through our senses, but they are speaking to us of something which can't be grasped by the senses themselves, something deeper within, a brooding glory that's waiting to come out. He says, I lived in the ray, in a ray like a ray of light, a ray of consciousness. But he felt that he's not looking towards the sun. He's feeling the light of the sun falling on him and showing the world around. But he's not seeing the sun of consciousness of higher consciousness.
Evoke the invoke. I don't clearly see the difference. Evoke the invoke.
Yes, to evoke means to call out. So the form, the sign, when we see something that touches us, that calls out from our inner subjective consciousness a mood, some kind of feeling that we experience in ourselves. No? And to invoke is to call something in to ourselves. So the calling is going in different directions. Something is calling something out from within us, and something within us is calling something down into itself.
You say, this thing evoke that feeling in me.
Yes, yes.
Invoke the
We invoke the presence or the peace, exactly. Yes, yes. Edita.
I looked upon the world and missed the self. And when I found the self, I lost the world. My other selves I lost, and the body of God, the link of the finite with the infinite, the bridge between the appearance and the truth, the mystic aim for which the world was made, the human sense of immortality.
So this is quite a poignant problem when we become aware of something that's not in the world, and we think it is deep in ourselves, in our self. There's a mystery, a greatness, which is the self that's holding everything together. No? So he says, when I'm looking at beauty and art, when I'm looking at the world, then I'm missing the self. And if I turn within myself and I find that sense of oneness, then I lose touch with the world. And yet he's developed enough to know that all these forms and beings in the world are his other selves. He should be able to feel the oneness with them. And he loses the body of God. One can maybe come into a sense of the presence of God, but where is that body that one can touch and clasp? He had mentioned it before now. So what he's missing is the link of the finite, the limited, what is defined, and the infinite. He needs a bridge, a connection between the appearance, which we see with our senses and our mind, and the truth, which is allowing all these appearances to exist. What is the link? How can we experience it? And he says he's needing the mystic aim for which the world was made. Why is this world here, this material world? What is it for? What are all these shapes and appearances for? What is their purpose and their reality? He feels as if the mystic aim for which all this creation has been made is that individual human beings could have the sense, the experience of immortality and oneness. So that's why earlier on in the poem we have the book of the Adoration of the Divine Mother, and there it says, she is the golden bridge. And now he is seeing Savitri, and that's what he's feeling, that she will be this link between what is divine and what is human, between what is finite and infinite. That's what she will mean for him. Will you read, sir?
But now the gold link comes to me with thy feet, and his gold sun has shone on me from thy face.
Let's pause there because the next sentence is a long one. So this gold link, this connection, this bridge that was missing, he says, it has come to me on your feet. Your feet are touching our earth and have brought you to me, and this makes the connection. And now that gold sun of the Lord, of the Self, it is shining on me from your face. Before he wasn't looking at the sun, no, he was feeling the sun on him. Now he says, now I can see it. It's shining on me from your face. Lady at the back behind you, Luba.
For now another realm draws near with thee, and now diviner voices fill my ear. A strange new world swims to me in thy gaze, approaching like a star from unknown heavens. A cry of spheres comes with thee, and a song of flaming gods. I draw a wealthier breath, and in a fierier march of movement, of moments move.
Thank you. So now he's telling Savitri what it means to him to have seen her and met her. He's explored the physical world, the natural world around him, and he's gone into the inner worlds, the subtler worlds. But he says now another realm is coming, draws near, approaching me with you as you come. And now I'm hearing, he was hearing subtle voices before, but now he says the voices that he hears are even more divine. Diviner voices fill my ear. A whole new world that is strange to him. It's as if he's beginning to see it swimming towards him in a vague way, approaching like a star coming from unknown heavens, coming towards him. And that's as if that star brings a sound, a music with it, cry of spheres. The spheres are the heavenly bodies, and as they move in the skies, the old idea was that they make a sound. And there must be a truth behind that each of these planets and stars and all these, as they move, each of them has their own vibration. So now new vibrations are coming. A song of flaming gods, divine beings full of energy and light. So he says the very way that I'm breathing is richer. I'm breathing a deeper, richer breath. And I'm moving, the moments are moving in a fierier march. There's more fire, there's more energy and enthusiasm and warmth and everything dynamic in the moments because of the presence of Savitri. Lupa.
My mind transfigures to a rapturous sea. A form deep traveling from the waves of bliss has changed my heart and changed the earth around. Always the uncanny fields, air, soil, and streams, as a bridal raiment to be fit for thee, and suddenly grows a shadow of thy hue because of change within you by thy look.
So something has happened to his mind. It's got transfigured. He's seeing things, blissful things, like a rishi seeing higher levels of consciousness. And it's as if a great big wave, an ocean wave of bliss has come over him. So this is love poetry, but it's a completely different kind of love poetry than what we are used to, no? But what a wonderful way to express the feeling that meeting somebody who changes your life, how it comes, what it feels like. A foam leap, traveling from the waves of bliss, has changed my heart. Everything has changed within him. And because everything has changed within him, then the world around seems to have changed. Everything has changed. Everything is filling with significance and meaning and delight because you have come. The air, the soil, the ground, the stream running through the forest, it's as if they've all put on their best wedding garments, their finest clothes, to be fit to be in her presence. And this bright sunlight, the lovely sunlight in the forest, he says, it no longer looks so bright. It's like a shadow of this beautiful golden light that you are carrying with you. Your hue, your color. And all this has happened because of this change that's happened within me when I look at you and you look at me. And then he invites her to come. She's still sitting in the chariot, and he's on the ground. Would you like to read, Mum?
Come nearer to me from the care of light. On this green sward is dying, not our soul. For here are secret spaces made for there. Walls comes of emerald long to screen to fall.
Thank you. So come nearer from me. There you are, you're sitting in your beautiful golden chariot, but come nearer to me. Don't be too proud to put your feet on our soil, on our ground. This green sward. Sward is a poetic word for grass. When the grass is like a lovely lawn, the sward. So he says, come down, put your feet on our soil. Because, he says, in this forest there are beautiful secret spaces. They are just have been made for you. And these are like caves of emerald. Emerald, of course, is a very precious stone, a beautiful green precious stone, the color of life, this green of life. It's the color of the forest. So these groves are like emerald caves. And he says they are just longing, those caves are longing to hide you, to take you into them and screen your form, to hide you. Joel.
Wilt thou not make this mortal bliss thy sphere? Descend, O happiness, with thy moon gold feet, enrich earth floors upon whose sleep we lie.
This is the invocation to Savitri. Wilt thou not? Won't you Come and make this your kingdom, your sphere where you rule, this realm where we have a special kind of bliss, the mortal bliss. It's not the immortal bliss. So he calls her happiness, oh happiness, come down. Put your moon gold feet, again this lovely color of her skin, no? Put your feet on our earth. Enrich earth's floors. If you touch this floor of earth with your feet, it will become richer. And this is where we are lying. We sleep here on this, and earth herself is asleep, but perhaps she will wake up if you put your feet on her. You like to read? Yes, please.
Oh my greater beauteous princess Savitri, why my delight in
Thy own.
and thy own joy forfeited. Enter my life, the chamber and the tree.
Now this is, we say my life, and then thy joy, thy chamber, thy shrine. This is the second person singular form, which we don't normally use in English. We say the plural form, you, your, yours. But there's this singular form which is very useful in poetry. So he's saying to Savitri, you are the princess of beauty for me. No? Compelled, driven, first of all, by my delight. Satyavan says, my delight is calling you. And your own joy is driving you. So these two things together. Come into my life, which will be thy chamber. This will be your private room, your special place, and even thy shrine. A shrine is where we keep a figure of the divine, a holy place, a sacred place. So he says, my life will be the place where your beauty and your truth will be enshrined, will be living there, protected and worshipped. Patricia?
In the great quietness where spirits meet, led by my hushed desire into my groves, let the dim wrestling arches over thee lead, one with the breath of things eternal live. Thy heart beats near to mine, till there shall leap enchanting from the fragrance of flowers a moment which all murmurs shall recall, and every bird remember.
So this is to be a meeting of spirits, of souls, no? In a great quietness. He says, even my desire is hushed, it will be silent. No? Let me lead you into these woods, into this forest which I know, and let the branches of these trees lean over you in a protecting way. Come and live here with the breath of eternal things. In nature, perhaps we feel closer to eternal things than in the big city, which is dominated by men. No? come and live here in the oneness of these eternal things. Your heart beats near to mine until something happens out of this union. There shall leap, suddenly will come some enchanted moment that's filled with the fragrance of the flowers. This moment, which will be somehow significant in the whole of time, which all murmurs shall recall, will remember or commemorate this moment of coming together and what comes out of it. And every bird will remember that moment in its song, in its cry. As the sound of birds very often resonates with significance. No? So we can go a little further down, Mahalingam.
Are you relaxed by his passionate words? Her fathomless soul looked out at him from her eyes, passing her lips in liquid sound he spoke.
Allured, it means attracted. Fishermen who are trying to catch fish, they will put a lure, a fly or something to attract the fish. So Satyavan's passionate words, these wonderful things that he's saying to her, allures to her lashes, her eyelashes. So it is her soul which is allured. It's been hiding deep within. Her soul is fathomless. It's so deep, it can't be measured. No? But now it comes and comes into her eyes and looks out at him from her eyes. There's a soul communion through the eyes. And the soul, Savitri's soul, expresses itself in words, passing her lips. It's the soul comes out, no? In liquid sounds. She has such a beautiful voice. It spoke. And then we have the words that she spoke. Alexei, you will read?
This word alone she utters and said, O Satyavan, I have heard thee, and I know that thou and only thou art he.
Yes, thank you. So, just a short sentence, but in this short sentence she says everything. No? This is all that she uttered, all that she spoke, and yet in these few words she says everything. O Satyavan, I've heard what you're telling me, and now I know. And it's her soul that's saying, I know that you, only you, are the one that I have been looking for, my destined partner. And again, this is this second person singular. And she doesn't say, you are the one. She says, thou art he. The form of the verb is also different. Sergei?
Then down she came from her high-covered car, descending with the soul and faltering haste. Her many hued raiment, glistening in the light, hovered a moment over the wind-stirred grass, mixed with a glimmer of her body's spray, like lovely plumage of a setting bird.
This is another beautiful image. No? She comes down from her car. She's wearing a beautiful colored, many-colored dress. No? And that shines in the light. Perhaps it's a very fine kind of silk. No? And as she comes down, it floats for a moment over the grass. And maybe that material of her dress, her sari or whatever it is that she's wearing, is translucent. So there's a kind of glimmer, a shine of her body through the cloth, no? And then it's settling there like the lovely plumage. Sometimes birds have such beautiful feathers. Plumage, it's the bird's feathers settling, coming down. And she's descending, she's coming down from her high carven car. We could say carved, but for the rhythm, it's nice to say carven, which is an old form of the participle. Her car that has been carved. She's coming down quickly, with some haste, but very softly, and also there's some shyness, some hesitation, faltering, as if she's not entirely sure of herself. Very, very sweet. Bhavan.
Her clean feet upon the green gold sward, scattered a memory of wandering beings, and lightly pressed the unspoken desire of earth, cherished in her too brief passing very soul.
So this is a special moment when the feet of the incarnate divine touch the soil. No? So these gleaming feet, these moon gold feet on this green and gold grass, this sward, it's as if they are shining, they are scattering a memory of wandering dreams. There's some dreamlike light around her feet as she puts them on the ground. And she lightly presses the earth, and it's as if the earth is longing for that touch. She is pressing this unspoken desire of the earth. Earth can't express itself, but still it's longing, it's yearning to feel that touch of the divine feet. No? So the soil cherishes. Her feet are not on it for long enough. She's moving, no? But cherished in her too brief passing by the soil. Something sacred, wonderful to be touched by the feet of Savitri. Suresh?
The freedom like a brilliant hand to from the one which sunlight owns. The Lord was of the jewel face
Clustering
swans, companions of the spring time and the trees.
So what is she doing now with her hands? Her hands are moving in the way that moths move. You know, moths are these, they're like butterflies, but they come at night. And sometimes, because they are creatures of the darkness, sometimes they shine with lovely silvery light. No? So her hands are like that. So the moths, the hands are moving like moths, like night butterflies. And she's taking from the edge of the forest the sylvan verge. Sylvan is an adjective meaning to do with the forest. So the edge of the forest, from the edge of the forest, and it seems there the forest has arms, no? On which the sunlight is shining. Under the trees themselves, there's shadow, but here on the verge of the forest, there the sunlight is shining, and it's as if there are arms offering her something. She's taking there a load, many of their jewel faces, clustering swarms. Swarms means many. There are swarms of bees or swarms of ants. But here, these are swarms in clusters, in groups of jewel faces, flowers. These are many-colored flowers offering their faces. And that's what she's doing. She's gathering flowers. These who are the companions of the springtime and the breeze. Beautiful, like jewel-colored, beautiful little faces. She's collecting a lot of them.
Candid garland set with simple forms, her rabbit fingers trod the flowers on. The stanzas movement of a marriage hymn.
So she's making a garland, a simple garland, something that's candid, is very simple and open. It's not complicated and ornate. A candid garland set with simple forms. She makes with her fingers. She makes a garland like a song made up of flowers. The stanzad movement of a marriage hymn. When there's going to be a marriage, some poet will create a poem specially for the occasion, usually with many verses in which he speaks about the bride and the bridegroom and their families and why they've come together. No? But she's doing all this with her fingers, with this garland of flowers. She's going to offer this garland to Satyavan. That will be the sign of their marriage. So, yes. Stanzas are verses of a poem.
As a verb.
Yes, as an adjective he's done it, no? It's an adjective. It means that with these, the way that she's arranged the flowers, they're in little clusters like the stanzas, the verses of a poem. Yeah? Perhaps in alternating colors or, you know. Shall we stop there? I think we'll stop there. She's just made the garland. We can go on with this next week. Anybody wants to ask anything? So let's read these lines. If you notice as we read something that you didn't understand, you can ask at the end. So from line 272 on page 407. I plunged into an inner seeing mind and knew the secret laws and sorceries that make of matter mind's bewildered slave. The mystery was not solved, but deepened more. I strove to find its hints through beauty and art, but form cannot unveil the indwelling power. Only it throws its symbols at our hearts. It evoked a mood of self, invoked a sign of all the brooding glory hidden in sense, I lived in the ray, but faced not to the sun. I looked upon the world and missed the self. And when I found the self, I lost the world. My other selves I lost, and the body of God, the link of the finite with the infinite, the bridge between the appearance and the truth, the mystic aim for which the world was made, the human sense of immortality. But now the gold link comes to me with thy feet, and his gold sun has shone on me from thy face. For now another realm draws near with thee, and now diviner voices fill my ear. A strange new world swims to me in thy gaze, approaching like a star from unknown heavens. A cry of spheres comes with thee, and a song of flaming gods. I draw a wealthier breath, and in a fierier march of moments move. My mind transfigures to a rapturous seer, a foam leap travelling from the waves of bliss has changed my heart and changed the earth around. All with thy coming fills, air, soil, and stream wear bridal raiment to be fit for thee, and sunlight grows a shadow of thy hue, because of change within me by thy look. Come nearer to me from thy car of light, on this green sward, disdaining not our soil. For here are secret spaces made for thee, whose caves of emerald long to screen thy form. Wilt thou not make this mortal bliss thy sphere? Descend, O happiness, with thy moon gold feet, enrich earth's floors, upon whose sleep we lie. O my bright beauty's princess, Savitri, by my delight and thy own joy compelled, enter my life, thy chamber and thy shrine. In the great quietness where spirits meet, led by my hushed desire into my woods, let the dim rustling arches over thee lean. One with the breath of things eternal live, thy heart beats near to mine, till there shall leap, enchanted from the fragrance of the flowers, a moment which all murmurs shall recall, and every bird remember in its cry. Allured to her lashes by his passionate words. Her fathomless soul looked out at him from her eyes. Passing her lips, in liquid sounds it spoke. This word alone she uttered, and said all. O Shraddhavan, I have heard thee, and I know that thou and only thou art he. Then down she came from her high carven car, descending with a soft and faltering haste. Her many-hued raiment, glistening in the light, hovered a moment over the wind-stirred grass, mixed with a glimmer of her body's ray, like lovely plumage of a settling bird. Her gleaming feet upon the green gold sward scattered a memory of wandering beams, and lightly pressed the unspoken desire of earth, cherished in her too brief passing by the soil. Then, flitting like pale brilliant moths, her hands took from the sylvan verge's sunlit arms a load of their jewel faces' clustering swarms, companions of the springtime and the breeze. A candid garland set with simple forms, her rapid fingers taught a flower song, the stanza'd movement of a marriage hymn.